Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Yes, it appears we have a judgment in the case against Alex Jones, or the two cases against Alex Jones over the false claims of the Sandy Hook shooting. So now Alex Jones, of course, famously has been calling the 2012 shooting a gigantic hoax. Oh, it's fake crisis actors and all that stuff. Deep state coming for your guns, etc., etc. So now, of course, these families who were massively affected by this because members of Alex Jones' audience would harass them, and there were members of these families that have suffered just unimaginable loss, having to go from home to home to home to avoid Alex Jones's crazed fans. These are people, again, who are like, oh, you're just a crisis actor, you're just this, you're just that, you're not real, didn't actually happen, I will keep my guns, and all that insane stuff. So now they filed lawsuits against him, and it turns out that Alex Jones, through his own actions, has been ruled against. I will explain. District Judge Maya Guerra Gamble of Travis County, Texas, had issued something called a default judgment against Jones and Infowars as well, after they did not comply with court orders to give information in a pair of 2018 lawsuits brought against him by the families of two children killed in the 2012 massacre. So now, Jones repeatedly failed to hand over documents and evidence to the court supporting his damaging and erroneous claims that the school shooting in Newtown, Connecticut, which killed 26 people, 20 of whom were young children, was a false flag operation carried out by so-called crisis actors. So let's go back to just how sickening these claims are. All right. So this is somebody who's a very, very public figure, all right, who is going around accusing parents for years and years and years, accusing these parents who've lost children in one of the most horrifying ways of being fake, and they're just actors, and it wasn't real, and their grief and loss, etc., is faked, and it's bad, it's part of some government conspiracy. And I just want to show you, by the way, so to me, this seems like an open and shut case, all right? And probably why Alex Jones didn't want to hand any evidence over, because it's right there. Years and years and years of Alex Jones saying insane things like this.
Sandy Hook, it's got inside job written all over it. Sandy Hook is a synthetic, completely fake, with actors, in my view, manufactured. I couldn't believe it at first. You saw them stage Fast and Furious. Folks, they staged Aurora. They staged Sandy Hook. The evidence is just overwhelming. The truth is they've had national polls where upwards of half of Americans don't believe Sandy Hook because they don't believe a word the mainstream media says. We've sent reporters up there, man, and that place is like Children of the Corn or something. I mean, it is frickin' weird. And then the weird videos of reported parents of kids laughing, and all of a sudden they do the hyperventilating to cry to go on TV. All I know is something's going on. And you don't like us looking at it. You don't like us questioning you. The father needs to clarify, that NBC needs to clarify, because the coroner said none of the parents were allowed to touch the kids or see the kids. And maybe they, meaning at the school, I'm sure later maybe the parents saw their children. Could be that, we need to get clarification. I went on, I could never find out. The stuff I found was they never let them see their bodies. That's kind of what's weird about this, but maybe they did. So I'm sure it's all real. Folks, we've got video of Anderson Cooper with clear blue screen out there. He's not there in the town square. We've got people clearly coming up and laughing and then doing the fake crying. We've clearly got people where it's actors playing different parts of different people. The building bulldozed, covering up everything. Adam Lanza trying to get guns 5 times, we're told. The witnesses, not saying it was him. People out in the woods. And break down what you believe is a total hoax. I've looked at it, and undoubtedly there's a cover-up, there's actors, they're manipulating, they've been caught lying, and they were pre-planning before it and rolled out with it.
So that's just a sampling of some of the stuff he said since 2012. I mean, you've got tons of video out there of him saying the most, again, heinous things. Oh, it's a hoax, all that. And so now, that said, those are his previous statements. In a deposition in 2019, after he got sued, he started to change his tune just a little bit, just a slight bit. In fact, I want to show you some of that deposition. Take a look.
Don't go investigate it. I believe mass shootings happened, and I'm sorry, and some of the anomalies we were told were wrong. And I've said it, I've probably been saying that 4 years.
Okay.
And so I've been trying to say, particularly, hey, it's not my identity, and I believe it happened, and I'm sorry for your, any pain you've had. But I think children died. I believe mass shootings happened. They just had one in Brazil, a tragedy, and I believe it's a crisis. It's traumatic, and so people go and they find anomalies, and then I've kind of retrospectively gone back and seen how I did believe that stuff. And then I go back and I've now studied more, actually, the real anomalies, and it's just the school system and government trying to cover its rear end from liability. And so there definitely has been there's been a cover-up of the events. And I think there's a lot of evidence showing there could have been a second shooter. There is the helicopter footage of the man in the woods. I still have questions about Sandy Hook, but I know people that know some of the Sandy Hook families. They say no, it's real. People I think are credible, and so over the years I've especially as it became a huge issue, had time to really retrospectively think about it, and as the whole thing matured, had a chance to believe that children died, and it's a tragedy, but there are still real anomalies in the attempt to basically keep it blacked out, that generally when you see that in government, something's being covered up.
Even went on to say that, oh, no, you know what? I did believe in it, but that was because I had a form of psychosis where I thought, oh, man, yeah, everything is staged. Oh, yeah, it's, everything's staged. You can't trust the government. The media's lying to you, so you don't really know what's real. I'm just asking questions. No, you knew it was BS. Absolutely. Now, here's the thing, right? He claimed, his lawyer, I should say, back in 2017, when he was going through divorce proceedings, lawyer claimed that he's a performance artist. No, all the stuff that Alex Jones says on the show, it's complete nonsense. He knows it's all nonsense. He knows it's all crap. But he's just doing it because he's being entertaining. That's what it is. It's just performance art. It's just entertainment. Don't take it really seriously. In fact, nobody would ever take it seriously, which of course led to the Tucker Carlson defense later on by saying, well, no reasonable person would ever take anything that Tucker Carlson says seriously. I mean, who would perish the thought, right? Would you ever take any of these nutbags seriously on anything that they ever say? But people do. That's the whole point. You pushed your audience. Alex Jones pushed his audience to go and terrorize these families based on nothing but, again, he revealed his sources to be 4chan. Rando posts on 4chan and emails that people would send him. He even admitted, well, of course we didn't actually look into this. Did we do any sort of investigation into what happened on Sandy Hook? Not really. We just relied on news reports, which really, of course, were just random rantings from chuds on 4chan. So, come on. He knows it's all BS. He doesn't actually do any sort of journalism or investigative whatever, okay, like he claims that he does. He's a crackpot and puts out crackpot theories for money. That's it. Now, this led to Gamble's scathing ruling, he said, which lambasted Jones and his website's parent company, Free Speech Systems, for having, quote, intentionally disobeyed the court's requests and showing flagrant bad faith and callous disregard in not turning over documents related to this and other lawsuits filed against him. An escalated series of judicial admonishments, monetary penalties, and non-dispositive sanctions have all been ineffective at deterring the abuse, Gamble wrote. He was ordered last year, by the way, to pay almost $150,000 in legal fees after he failed to provide discovery documents for attorneys representing those Sandy Hook families. So he's just flat out refusing to do anything. Like, oh, you want documents? Yeah, how about this? That's your document. That's essentially what he does. And by the way, in 2019, he was also sanctioned for allegedly sending emails containing illegal images of children to the family's attorneys. Stuff that would get them in trouble if they knowingly opened it, possessed it, etc. They said that when a consultant was reviewing documents Jones turned over for the case, they found an image that appeared to be CP, basically. Which, of course, they immediately contacted counsel and the FBI. The FBI looked into it, found numerous additional illegal images in those documents, apparently been sent to Infowars email addresses. It is worth noting that if the Jones defendants, the statement said, had engaged in even minimal due diligence and actually reviewed the materials before production, they would have found the images themselves. Because the Jones defendants did not do that, they transmitted images to the plaintiffs that, if they were knowingly possessed, is a serious federal crime. Gamble also said Jones showed a general bad faith approach to litigation that was supported by Mr. Jones' public threats and Mr. Jones' professed belief that these proceedings are show trials. The court finds the defendant's failure to comply is greatly aggravated by their consistent pattern of discovery abuse throughout similar cases pending before this court. The court finds the defendant's discovery conduct in this case is a result of flagrant bad faith and callous disregard for the responsibilities of discovery under the rules. So again, all this led to a default judgment. So what is the default judgment? Well, basically, the plaintiffs win by default because Alex Jones took his ball and went home, essentially. And so now it kind of makes you wonder, why? Why would he do this? Why? I mean, so I think, of course, he didn't want to be part of this. Maybe he thought that he wasn't going to get in trouble for this, claiming, oh no, free speech, free speech, free speech, free speech. Free speech doesn't allow you to incite violence. And that's what this is. He incited his audience to go and threaten and harass other people by consistently lying and defaming a family through these conspiracies. That's it. That's what we're doing here. That's what he does every single day. Every single time he talks about this, he goes and he defames people. He talks trash and does nothing but nonsense conspiracies. So the only thing that I can hope is that these penalties are significant enough, not to just, because you're never going to get Jones to not do anything, but to bankrupt his company. I don't necessarily believe that that's going to happen, knowing what I know about, the way the justice system kind of works, the way the juries work. It probably will be a significant fine. It will pay for, legal fees and things like that for the family, and that's good. They get some sort of restitution. But to think that this will stop Alex Jones from doing what he's doing, very unlikely. But I still have a little bit of hope that maybe something will change. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.